Hi everyone, welcome back to my Animal Crossing New Horizons series. This is part 72. This is the last episode on decoration, so I think it will be a bit larger. But of course, I'm super excited to go ahead and complete decorating my island. It has definitely taken around 20 to 25 episodes for me to go ahead and decorate it. So today is gonna be the last for that. Now, before we do anything on decoration, we actually have a campsite villager on our island. This is where I had stopped my last episode, but I also discussed on actually inviting this villager to my island. In this case, I'm not too worried about the villagers that I already have. There are a couple of them I definitely want to let go. One is Flo, who was my first villager, and the other one being Cephalobot. The rest of them I really want to keep on my island for now. So I'm gonna try and see if this villager does want to switch out with both of them that I just mentioned. By the way, if you're wondering, this is Whitney, which is pretty cool. I really do like wolf villagers. Most of them are super cute, so I'm really excited to have Whitney on my island. Now, all the villages that you did see in my map are not going to be my final villages. Recently, I have been thinking about different dreamies that I want to have on my island, so I decided to go ahead and try that out. I'll be doing that once I complete decorating my island, of course. But I do have one of my dreamy right now in my island, and I'll let you have a guess on that. Let me know in the comment section which one it might be. Definitely it's not Whitney, since I am just adding her to my island. But my villager is one of the 10 that I just showed. Anyway, let me continue talking to Whitney here, and hopefully I get her to say either Flo or Cephalobot's name. If that happens, I'll go ahead and accept it. Alright, took me around 4 minutes, but right here she once again prompted on the lines of I wanna stay in your island, and I guess we do have to play a game with her this time. The previous time she did have the dialogue, she didn't really ask to play the game, so it was just a direct option. But unfortunately she did select Kiki right there, so I had to restart my game. This time I'm gonna go ahead and play the game right here. I was lucky enough to get the same card that she guessed, so she is gonna check out once more. Alright, let's see who she comes up with this time. Usually I'm not too picky with my villagers, but for this island, since I am having a specific theme, I definitely want to have certain villages on my island. Anyway, in this case, she actually went ahead and selected Cephalobot, which was pretty cool. This is just the second time I was talking to her. I remember when I was trying to get Cherry on my island, she actually made me play around a whole day for me to actually get the right villager to switch out. So this was pretty cool. I mean, I got this done like within 4 minutes. Anyway, we have a new villager, Whitney, here on our island. I mean, she will be coming to our island tomorrow, of course, but for now it is confirmed to have a new villager on my island. Pretty nice. It's also raining outside, which is pretty cool. Rainy season has never been kind of like my favorite of the 4 seasons, but for this island I think it works super well, so I'm really happy to have rainy season here. I actually had to visit the museum, so I decided to get a cup of coffee. I think I haven't done this for a long time, so I'm pretty happy to come back here to the cafe. As usual, Brewster is here. Today I did get the option to get pigeon milk, which I did go ahead and add. But we did get a special dialogue right here, which means we have a new item. In this case, we have the Pro Coffee Grinder. Pretty cool. I think we have one more item to get, which would be a gyroid, which is having kind of Brewster's face on it. I think that one is super cool. All I have to do is get around 20 more coffees to get that one. I've definitely been thinking about collecting gyroids, and I'm gonna try and attempt it. Now, I have had islands before, that is, I have been resetting my island a lot of times, but I never actually completed any of the catalog, not even the museum items. So So I'm pretty interested in actually doing that for this island. I'm not really sure if I would reset this game in the future, but I definitely want to at least try and complete one or two of these catalogs for this island. Anyway, here we are on the next day. Seems like we have an item that I did order from Nook Stop, but nothing else. I am getting a lot of letters from my villages, but I never got a chance to kind of reply back to it. Maybe I have to start that one offline. As far as my villages moving out, which is quite rare in this case, I have seen that if you do kind of, have a more friendship level with them, they tend to kind of move away from the island. This is what I have heard, but it has never happened to Flo. I am not sure why she is so fixated on just staying on my island, but we are gonna see if we can do something about it. Either way, I was just changing my outfit here, and it seems like Bones wanted to visit my island. Bones is one of my favorite villagers, and I'm definitely enjoying having him on my island. I actually really like the interior design for his house, which is actually a library theme. Really hope that I can actually have that kind of theme in my house someday. I guess we could actually play a game with him. I mean, this is the first time he is visiting my house, so I'm just gonna go ahead and entertain this one. Personally, I think this game is way better in odds of you winning rather than the other games that you get during campsite. This case, he does have the number 7. I'm gonna go with lower. Not really sure if that is the case, but let's see. Never mind. The number is higher. Anyway, it was pretty fun playing with him, but I do have some work to do, so I have to ask him to leave. I usually do not like throwing my villagers out of my house. I mean, it is so cool to see them. They do have a variety of dialogues that you get when they actually visit your house, which is pretty unique to each of these villages. So I'm really happy when they do visit my house. Offline, I just went ahead and checked out both resident services building as well as Nook's Cranny. But here we are. This is where I will be completing the decoration. This is what I had completed in the last episode. As you can see, all the trees that I did plant, at least most of them are fully grown. My plan on this today is to go ahead and add some dark dirt path around it and probably add a couple of other items that I was able to craft. I still have to complete this path here as well, which I actually did on the spot. I really didn't have actually an idea on how to complete this one, but we are gonna try and do that today. Anyway, as you might have seen, my pocket does not really have that many items. The main reason for this was that this is the last area I'm actually decorating, so I really don't need any more DIY recipes. I am planning to completely change some of the areas on my island, but when I actually do that, I might go back and craft some of the other items that I really need. Recently, I have been checking out other people's islands through the dream sequence, which by the way is a really great idea to get more inspiration. I would definitely recommend you guys to go ahead and check this one out. I know that many people just go ahead and try to visit other people's island through online. But if you don't really have that, you can definitely try the dream sequence, which is much easier, and you can either go to a specific island that you need, or you could just have a random item be shown to you. I think that is one of the best features in this game, and I don't really see that many people actually using it. Maybe I'll do a episode just where we are casually going into different people's island and checking out their designs. I'm pretty sure I would love to actually check out new designs as well as new ideas, which I could try out on my island as well. Anyway, in the meantime, I'll go ahead and continue decoration here. At this point, I realized that all the trees that I did plant here are so far away from each other, which actually looks pretty weird. I was just wondering if I should actually move them. I could move them a space closer and maybe plant another tree. That way it would actually look much better. But of course, going back to the dream sequence, I actually recently visited an island where they had a moon waterfalls, which I thought was super cool. It's a really cool idea to showcase a different design. I guess we could try that one out. I just thought that it wouldn't look great with my design. But if I am going ahead and redesigning my island to a different theme, probably that would actually look super cool. Right here, I also decided to go ahead and move the giant flower aside. I mean, initially I had an idea that this giant flower would be kind of an attraction for this area and you could just come here and watch it. Kind of like a park where you have a certain monument in the park which everyone just comes to look at. Unfortunately, I actually don't have enough space for that idea here. So what I'm going to do is move the flower all the way to the end and add a couple of trees in between. In this case, I am going to go ahead and try to add another tree here. I also need to break out the stone. This rock will be moved to another area at a later stage. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and work with all of these items here. I also have the beautiful ordnance on my island right now, and that might be the reason why the flowers on my island just go super wild. I mean, if you are having this ordnance just like me, I would recommend just having a path or an item kind of blocking the flower and stopping it from just spreading like wildfire. I mean, I actually had that happen to me once and it took me so long to just remove all of those flowers. Anyway, now that we have set out one side of the path, I am going to try the same over here as well. For this side, unfortunately, initially when I was planting the trees, I ran out of cedar trees, so I had to use fruit trees here. But I think it will kind of work out, so let's see if we can actually try that. There we go. I guess I'll keep this last part a bit open. I don't think having a tree here would actually help me, especially since, you know, all of these trees kind of tend to cover up the items that you have on your island. So probably I'll leave this end space a bit open and place the flower here. Anyway, I had to erase out one side of this dark dirt path as I completely forgot about the brown patch design here. I definitely have to kind of add this one to the end. There we go. Let me go ahead and continue the same path a bit forward. Now there is another tip that I would like to give. If you want to kind of avoid weeds from kind of coming on your island, but you do not want to have a path like how I do here, you can instead go ahead and use the green path that you'll be able to see in the plus sign when you are adding the other paths, and that supposedly stops the weeds from going in that area. This is something I have heard. I've not actually tried it out myself, but I have seen some other players' island where this has been the case, where they don't have really that many items as much as I do, but still they do not have any kind of weed kind of growing in between. So I do suspect that is what they might have done over there. Anyway, here is the dark dirt path. I think that looks pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and surround the rest of the trees with this brown path here, and also try to get the balloon gift which is floating around. As far as balloon gifts go, I have heard that if you do see a yellow colored balloon, it means you will be only getting bells in that, but all the other different kinds of colors will have either items, DIY recipes, or some kind of stone, rock, or other stuff. But of course, if you are in need for any bells, I would definitely recommend hunting down the yellow balloons that are kind of floating around. Those presents will definitely have at least 5,000 bells, up to 30,000 at max. so it's an easier way of getting more bells. Anyway, that is the design on the right side of the island. I'm gonna go ahead and work on the left side here. For this one, as you can see, once again, I have way less trees here, so I definitely have to move these trees around. I also have a couple of fossils that are just here, which I have to remove. But let's do one thing at a time. In this case, I'm just gonna go ahead and plant a couple more trees here. Thankfully, I was able to actually buy more cedar saplings. So I do have enough for at least decorating this whole area. There we go. I think these trees are pretty fine. I really don't have to make any changes here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add more dark dirt path around it. Ooh, there is another fossil here which I definitely have to remove. As far as the fossil goes, I actually need one more fossil to complete my fossil museum. It's pretty funny that I have been struggling to find this one fossil for quite a long time. I think it has been around 30 to 35 episodes of me just trying to find this one fossil, and unfortunately I have not yet found it. I do know which fossil I need because I went back to the catalog to check out which one it is. Unfortunately I haven't really found it yet. Hopefully I'll be at least able to find it when I do complete decorating this island. Anyway, I decided to go ahead and move the shell fountain since it is kind of being blocked by the arc right there. Maybe we'll be able to place the fountain in another area. After some time, I was finally able to place it right in front of the house. I think that's the perfect space for the fountain, and it actually does not stop me from running around over there. That is pretty good. Anyway, let me continue adding more dark dirt path here and seeing if I can actually fit a couple of items around this cliff. If you are also seeing a lot of these flowers here, most of them were just dumps that I just went here and planted as I wanted to kind of clear out my pocket, but I think they actually look good. Most of these flowers are hybrid flowers, the purple ones, which actually were created because of the ordnance that I have, but I think it looks super nice. I have been thinking about breeding the rest of the flowers, especially the rose. I definitely want to have golden roses on this island, but I've never tried that. I've never tried breeding flowers or trying to see how we can actually create different colors of flowers. So that is something that is gonna be new for me. Even though I have been owning this game since 2020, definitely have to go ahead and check that one out. But if you do have tips on how to actually do that, please let me know in the comment section. I'm happy to go ahead and read all of your comments and see how I can actually craft more of these flowers. This flower display case actually reminds me that I was trying to find another item which sadly I haven't really found yet. So I actually went back and ordered for another flower display case. I might end up switching this one out, but for now we will actually use this item. I also had to remove all the fossils for today. This I think will be the last time I'll have 5 fossils on my island. Unfortunately, I do not have enough space for all 5 rocks and all 5 of the fossils to spawn. So I definitely have to be a bit careful about it. Anyway, we are almost done. All I have to do is add a couple more items at the edge of the cliff here. I have gone ahead and definitely crafted a lot of these bamboo items which I think I was talking about. I'm gonna go ahead and try to use them here. Usually when it comes to decorating the edge of the cliff, I go ahead with shrubs, which I think you can actually see down below. But I am actually definitely trying to avoid those here. I also crafted the log stakes, which is actually a pretty unique item, and personally I think it looks super nice. I mean, if you have multiple of those log stakes kind of crafted, You could definitely keep them one after the other to kind of create a fencing area. I think that is super nice. Anyway, let us see what else items that I can actually use. I also have to decorate the dark dirt path, which is something I have not done yet, but I think I'll be able to do that once I do use all of my items here. At this point I was actually super excited, so I started using all of the items I had in my pocket, just like this garden lantern, which I was struggling to actually keep. I think having lanterns like this, especially the cube lights, the squared cube lights that you're able to actually buy from Nook Stop, these items are super helpful as they do light up when it's night time and it looks super cool. I also bought a couple different items like this cocoa tree right here, and definitely want to use it on my island, although I'm not really sure where I'll be able to specifically use it. Now that I'm looking at the shrubs that I have planted on the lower ledge, I think I could have replaced it with a bunch of flowers, which would look pretty cool, especially the hybrid flowers, which do come in a variety of colors. I have gone ahead and visited a couple islands where the players have just covered their island with flowers, which I think looks super nice. I also had this campsite idea where you could have a smaller area where you just have the campsite, which is kind of surrounded with a field of flowers. This is something that I have tried before. Unfortunately, I never completed the design for that island and had to reset it. But if I do find a photo of that, I will definitely share that with you all. I think that was the best campsite idea I had till now. Maybe you could try that out with your own house, where you could surround your house with a bunch of flowers and kind of make it look like a field of flowers. By the way, in between I did go ahead and time travel to the next day. The main reason was that I did plant a couple of saplings and I really wanted to make sure that they would actually grow. As you can see, they have grown a bit, so I'm pretty confident about it. Now that we have this one, I can finally go ahead and cover up all of these dark dirt paths with different colored patterns. Unfortunately, if you time travel, it means that all the rocks as well as the fossils do get resetted. Even though I did clear it out yesterday, I have to come back and clear it out here as well. So I'm gonna do that one here. Here we go, this is the first fossil. I also have a rock that has spawned. I'm not actually sure if it spawned one in the place where I wanted to spawn, but this one I definitely have to remove. Maybe I'll wait for a bit more until I add all of these patterns and then come back for it. Sadly, it actually didn't rain today, which I was really hoping for. Either way, the weather here is pretty good in this game. Alright, let me quickly go ahead and complete covering up all of these parts. Usually when I do complete the dark dirt patches, I really like to add a couple of flowers in between to make it look good. In this case, I have already added a lot of flowers on the edge of the cliff, so I think I might avoid doing that here. As far as the item goes on the game, I think there are a couple more items that I really want to have on this island. Unfortunately, I haven't really found them yet. I'll try and check out offline to see if I do have those kind of available in Nook's Cranny. I'm also trying to hunt for more DIY recipes, so probably when I am doing the villager hunt, I'll go back and see if I do get more newer recipes from them. Recently, I have been getting a lot of duplicate ones, so I either kind of sell them out or drop them out near my second user, which I think we can add it to that catalog. Initially, I actually had a list of villages that I wanted to have on this island. I didn't really mind about the different house structures for these villages, but I really wanted the villages themselves. Thankfully, I do have one of them on my island, which you can definitely try and guess. I'll let you guys know that one on the next episode. But other than that, we still have 9 villages to go ahead and find. Most of these 9 villages are preemies. I think a lot of people already have them on their island, but I personally have never had them. So I'm super excited to go ahead and find them. But of course, I might actually start doing that after I complete decoration. I also have to talk to Isabel on my 5-star island, which I have been kind of delaying. I actually might be able to do that after I complete decorating this island in this episode. Anyway, I just got distracted by a balloon present, as I am in need of a bit of bells for my island as well as other DIY recipes. So if I do see one just floating around, I tend to just go ahead and pop them. In this case, it was a yellow balloon, so we did get a bit of more bells. Anyway, we're almost done with the decoration. I do see that there is a huge area which kind of looks empty. I might be able to come back here and try to use other different items. As far as designing and decorating this island goes, I've actually avoided using stone items a lot. In my previous 2 islands that I had, I actually used a lot of these stone structured items. I think there are a couple of them, some of them being the stone henge, as well as the different other stone items like the stone arc or the stone pillars. I also had a dedicated area for them in my previous island, so I had decided not to use them in this one. Maybe it was my luck that I never found those items on this island. If I do find them in the future, I will stop myself from using them. But I really think some of those items are super cool. Anyway, if I am doing decoration, I might go back on my words, but let's see how that goes. Right here, I did decide to go ahead and use a couple of fences, just because it felt a bit empty around here. I might on a later stage try to craft an item that I can use in between here. For now, this plant is gonna be right there. Anyway, I think I'm almost done with the decoration. We have definitely used almost all of the items that I have in my pocket. There are only a couple of them that I don't think I will use, but if I do find a better item in the future, I'm just gonna go ahead and place them here. As for this present, it was just a clothing item, which is pretty sad. I think clothing item is one of the worst items you could get from the balloon presents. Even if you do get a furniture item, it is so much better than the clothing one. Especially since you do have able sisters where you can buy a bunch of these clothes. Right here I had this evergreen ash item and I really wanted to use this on my island. I think this has become one of my favorite items out of all of them. So I did decide to remove a tree from here and replace it with the evergreen ash. There we go, that does look pretty good. Now that we have this one, I think this is all for decoration on this area. I might go ahead and make some changes in between this episode and the next one if I do find better items. But if not, this is the final design or decoration for this cliff. Alright, so we have completed decorating my whole island, which I think is super cool. Of course, I forgot about the smaller area here, which I think I'll go ahead and decorate right now. But this is an area where I actually wanted more rocks to spawn in. As you can see, it is way too small for that. In the future, I might go ahead and expand this cliff a bit more. Maybe remove some of these trees in the back and have more area to spawn all 5 rocks. But for today, I'm gonna go ahead and just decorate this small area, maybe add a border to it. Now, I've never worked on this one before. I did have an area in my previous island where I was able to spawn around 4 different rocks. And to be honest, I really have no idea how I managed to do that. As far as I remember, it just spawned on its own. I was super happy with it and I just left it as it is. But for this one, I am planning on it, so I'm really not sure how it will actually work out. I guess all we can do is just wait and see how it actually goes. Either way, that is all the decoration I had for my island. Hope you guys enjoyed this amazing journey with me. Although I must say this is not the end of it. I'm definitely going to come back and try to do more different designs on this island, as Animal Crossing is one of my favorite games. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please consider liking, and if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to my channel, as it does help me a lot. If you'd like to support me more on Patreon, check out the links in my description. I'll see you guys in the next one.